Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I am showing you my second devlog of Wolfpack mod, or the Wolfpack mod, I'm not quite sure, but this is everything I added. Well, technically oil was always in the game, and oil actually doesn't look correct, and that doesn't look correct either, but this is huge. There are a lot. I did add a lot. I still have more to show you too, but that's going to be at the end of the video. So I'm actually going to work this way. If you ignore the sheet, this is sulfur, this is copper, or malachite, whatever you want to call it, and this is aluminum. That's an aluminum block, copper block, or whatever you'd like to call it really. This is sulfur ore, as I've said. That's sulfur dust, copper ingot, aluminum ingot. This is the wood, oh god, the woodworking station, sorry. And these are all new blocks over here too. This, actually I'll start from over here. This is rubber tree, or rubber log. This is ironwood log. This is hardy oak log, and this is hardy oak plank. You craft them within here. And I'll just show you that. Boom, get hardy oak plank, and I get hardy oak stick. Now, you might be wondering, well, why do I only get one plank from a whole log? I just think that's more realistic. And I'm going for realism here. And then 16 of those, I think that's pretty realistic. 16 from one plank, I think it's fairly realistic. So, moving on to this area, you might be noticing that the machines look different. So the reason for the machines looking different is that this has no heat to it. Now you might be wondering, well, what does that matter? Well, copper will absorb the heat a little bit differently than aluminum. Yeah, obviously, in my experience. So I couldn't really touch this if it was something that would get hot. It would just not be safe. But aluminum you typically can. Now, starting off, we're actually going to grab some tree tap, and I have a bucket, which is very important. Grab that bucket. Now it turns into a sap bucket, or a bucket full of sap, which is very important. So then we take our sap bucket, and we actually don't need that there. That's my mistake. We're going to evaporate the sap. And we get 3 latex resin and a bucket. Well, our bucket back. Now, we're going to take our latex resin, combine it with sulfur dust, and boom, we get refined latex. Take our refined latex, mix it with carbon dust, and boom, rubber sheet. Now I'm going to quickly explain why it's like that and why it's such a long process. So to begin with, in order to get your carbon dust and your sulfur dust, you need to have one sulfur ore, and you need to have a piece of charcoal. Macerate both. Bring them here. You bring the sap bucket, evaporate it, then you'll get your latex resin. Your latex resin is mixed with the sulfur, which is vulcanization. And once your vulcanized piece of resin is done smelting, which I'll get into why it's such a short process now, it turns into a refined latex. And to finish that off, you need to combine that with carbon dust to make a rubber sheet. In the press, of course. And that's actually the real process. I don't think I ever told you this, but I'm going for realism here. I really want a realistic mod. So, as much as I can do to make this realistic, I'm going to try. So the process is long. And these machines aren't realistic right now. This is a macerator. It doesn't require any energy or anything, which is not going to happen. There is for sure going to be a need for energy. I'm just working on that, and that's going to take me a little bit. This is a solar evaporator. This won't require any energy. It's just going to take a long time. It'll take about 12 in-game hours, which is about 5 minutes in real time, to evaporate a single bucket of sap. And this is a solar smelter. This is really just a test idea. I kind of like it, but the recipe I think is going to be pretty expensive, just because you're going to have to create kind of mirrors on the inside, if that makes sense, to smelt whatever you're smelting, and you can't smelt certain things because I don't really expect you to smelt tungsten. Then the press, this is actually a manual press. There will be a thing where you have to slide down a slider, or possibly like jump on a pressure plate. Whatever may work, I'm not quite sure yet. And then you get your rubber sheet. I'm doing a little bit more explaining. These are rubber trees. They contain rubber, and this is a hardy oak tree. This is kind of a rough rendering of what a hardy oak tree would look like. I'm actually going to hop over and show you what they will look like, because Although the leaves are still the same, they're the same for the rubber and the hardy oak. I haven't made the hardy oak ones just yet. I really want to get this out to you. So let's swap over to how it'll actually look and how my biomes look. So you first load into the world and you're going to notice, if you're in a normal biome, this is a plains biome I assume. Sunflower plains, yes it is. You're going to notice that these are around, and as I said, these are rubber trees, and as I said before, you can harvest them for their resin or their sap. Now over here, these are the oil fields. These contain oil and ironwood. Ironwood doesn't have a feature yet or any functionality to it, but there will be some functionality to it eventually. This is oil. Texture isn't right, but it is oil, and it will be used eventually, but that's actually crude oil. Refined oil must be processed through the refinery, which is not in the game right now. I know it was in the last devlog, but right now it is not. I'm sorry. And moving over here, we're in the hardy oak forest. Very green grass. That is something I really wanted to go for. And eventually there will be very green leaves, but in time. As you see, the trees are pretty big, and they're actually going to get bigger, as well as I'm planning on roots for the trees, and I'm planning on thicker bases for the trees. Some of this stuff is going to change in this forest. As you can see, there is andesite everywhere. That is a mistake. That was just something I was using for like a marker for myself to see. So that will change. But that is pretty much it. If you're wondering why there are no aluminum or copper tools, that is mostly because I don't really find that realistic. I'm going for a realistic mod. And yes, the tree tap is going to change in design. It's very ugly, I know. But I'm trying to make this as realistic as possible. In terms of, it's not going to be like Terra Firma Craft, and it's not going to be like any steampunk mod. It's just going to be a very slow progressing mod. But that is everything for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please let me know. And as well as give some suggestions in the comments on what you'd like to see in this mod. I'm very open to suggestions on this. I would really like to hear what people want, because this is going to be a mod that is going to be very large. I want this to be a very large mod that I could play myself and enjoy and not have to rely on other mods. But till then, I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.